We're going to show you today how to take a shirt that maybe is too big for you now and cut it down into a tank top that you can wear to the gym or if you're having a casual day. And what you'll do is you'll start with the t-shirt in question, and any t-shirt will do. As you can see, we've got our new 2014 challenge t-shirt. And you'll start by turning it inside out. Once you've got it turned inside out, you'll make sure that you line up all of the seams, shoulder seam to shoulder seam, and down the sides so it lays as flat as you can get it. And it sometimes will help to have a tank top that you know you like already. If you have a shirt that you like the shape of, you can use that as a template. But right now I'm going to line up the seams as best I can to try to get the shirt to lay as flat as I can, including the collar. And you'll take a good set of scissors. You want to make sure you have a really sharp set of scissors so that you're not hacking away at the shirt. And I'm going to start here at the collar on the shoulder seam, and I'm going to start really shallow, and I'm just going to go around the very edge of the ribbing, and then I'll decide as I go maybe if I want to cut it a little deeper. Depends on how you want your tank top to fit. You can cut a V-neck, you can cut a wider crew neck, you can cut this off the shoulder. Today we're going to focus on creating almost a racerback look. And this is typically going to work best for the ladies. If we get enough response, we could do one for the gents as well. But we're just going to follow the edge as close as you can. Now again, it's going to have a rough edge to it, so if you're a little bit off, it's not the end of the world. This is the exciting part of the day right here. Following seams. Again, having a really good set of scissors is going to help your life a little bit here. Now, once you get the edges off, all the way through, try not to cut your fingers, especially if you've got a good set of shears. You want to make sure you don't hurt yourself. So now you've got an open collar. In my case, I tend to like a little bit of an open neck, but we'll deal with a little bit of that. You should be prepared if you have graphics on the back that you're probably not going to be able to see them at the end. So say goodbye to those. It's not crucial to the design. We're going to start by cutting off sleeves. As you can see, the shoulder distance is pretty big here. Again, the idea is the shirt is too big, so we're going to go ahead and sacrifice quite a bit of the shoulder in order to make the tank. So I'm just going to estimate myself maybe an inch, inch and a half in from the original seam. This shirt is fairly large on me, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it in. You can cut shallow to begin, maybe closer in towards the sleeve, try it on, see where it hangs, or you can cut a little deeper. I tend to go a little shallow to begin and then make the adjustments as I go. You can always cut more later. Unfortunately, you cannot sew it back together if you've cut too much. So we're going to go ahead and cut it all the way down. Ladies, this is going to give you a little bit of a deeper armhole, so you're probably going to want to wear a reasonable sports bra or another tank top under it. Again, it's kind of a trendy look right now, sort of a throwback from the 80s. We're going to go ahead and take this and fold it to the other side. This is where it helps to have it as flat as you can get it. So it's going to take a moment of adjustment and maybe a little bit of smoothing. If you're really particular, you could actually iron the shirt to begin with. Me, I'm not that particular. So I'm going to estimate, again, I cut off about 1 inch. You can also mirror this way, like so. Pull it in about the same distance, and then we're going to follow along. Now, got about an inch. I'm going to follow it in. Take your time on the way through. This particular curve is a little bit tricky, so you just want to try to get it as close as you can to the other shape from the other sleeve. Like so. All right. So now we've got about the same shape there. This is where it's going to get a little bit fun. Now you get to decide your neckline. If you want it to be a V-neck or a crew, you can decide. Right here I can very clearly see where the graphic ends. Because I intend on layering this with another shirt, I'm going to go ahead and cut kind of a deep V into this. I'm going to start with a little snip through the shoulder, like so, maybe about an inch. And then I'm gonna go ahead and cut back down towards the center. I'm gonna estimate the shape to be at its lowest point, just about centered over the graphic, which is gonna put me right about there, okay? And then same deal, I'm just gonna fold this over to the other side. Try to match it up. Again, it's going to be a little bit inexact. If you really feel like you want to match it up perfectly, you can invest in a fabric pencil, and you can actually mark this out with chalk or that fabric pencil, and you'll be spot on. Taking a little bit off the edge there. And don't worry about the back of the neckline, because we are also going to trim that as well. So again, just bringing that point down as evenly as I can to about, I'm not doing a very even job, am I? I'll bring that right in, and you can always kind of jimmy it to meet it about in the middle. All right, if you want to smooth that out, feel free to do that. For the sake of the video, we won't do that today. And quick shot, you can also see where the back graphic is as well. I'm going to go ahead and trim that down and make it a little rounder and a little more even. While I have it here, I'm just going to cut it down a little. Just kind of follow the natural curve that's already there. Now again, normally I would go through and smooth that out. For today, not as important. Okay, this is the tricky part. We're going to cut into the back in order to create more of that deep racer back, because as you can see right now, it has almost like a muscle tank look to it, and we really don't want that. So we're going to realign these so that they're lined up a little closer. Shoulders are looking pretty good. I don't really want them any narrower than that. You can narrow it up if you want to, or you can actually tie scraps later to really bring that into a nice tight point. I'm going to leave them for the sake of the video. You can choose what you'd like to do. From here, I'm going to catch just the front here, or technically it's the back, but I'm going to take just this top layer, and I'm going to cut it in. Now, if you were less brave, you could probably sketch it. I'm actually just going to cut it, because I'm crazy like that. And then I'm just going to follow it a little bit further around and try to meet up right about where my original cut was, right about here. Okay, so here I'm going to take this piece from here and I'm going to flip it right over to here. Match that up as best I can. Right about there. Give or take a few. Now again, you can sketch around this with a pencil, or grab your trusty scissors and get to it. Just a little nick inward, and I'm going to start trimming. Again, you're going to lose a little bit of the back artwork, but that's okay. It will all come out in the wash. Okay, as you can see, nice half moon shape there. And for the final step, depending on how short you want to trim this off the bottom. You can trim more, but it makes it a little more difficult to work with. So we're going to keep it right down here along the bottom edge. I like to cut both layers together. This keeps things a little more evenly imperfect, shall we say. Oops. Just kidding. Okay. There's your bottom. Give it a little trim. Now we've got a ribbon. We're going to take this just the back, and we're gonna bunch it. And starting from the bottom, pick one end, tuck it under, and we're gonna start wrapping. Start off a little bit loose, and then as you go, you can tighten it. And simply wrap all the way up. I try to layer every wrap right over the last layer, like so. So it's a nice solid wrapping. It's gonna feel a little thick to begin with, but once you wash it, it'll soften up really nicely. And I usually just go right to the very end of the bottom seam. You can see where it's shaping up to be narrower in the back. I'm gonna stick the very end of it, maybe like right. I've wrapped my finger in, so I have enough room to tuck this back down in. And the good news is I've wrapped it from the inside, so you really won't ever see this. If you have a little extra like we do here, you can just trim it off, like so. That way, if it does ever come undone, you can always quickly fix it. Not a big deal. It's nothing permanent, no sewing needed. And now, you can turn it around, and you've got a brand new, ready to wear gym tank.